Crypto always surprises us. I think everyone's still overly optimistic about NFTs. Don't blindly put your money behind something. Understand the project and the utility behind something. If you don't understand what the project is, how can you think that it's going to 10x or do well?
Welcome, everyone. I'm Arman Asadi, CGO of Collective Shift, where we share the latest and best crypto analysis and advice on this channel to help you create more wealth and freedom. Make sure to like this video and subscribe, and check us out at collectiveshift.com. Today, we have a very special guest in an interview with Tracey Plowman, COO of Bamboo. We have 5 very hot investing questions we'll be asking. Welcome, Tracey. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Arman.
Yeah, pleasure. It's your morning, my evening. I'm very excited for this. Thanks for making the time. You're obviously doing some incredible things with Bamboo and your hot podcast that is just like climbing the charts. So tell us a little bit about yourself and Bamboo.
Well, gee, where do I start? Yeah, thanks for mentioning the podcast. Having great fun doing that. And yeah, it's always fun talking about crypto. So Bamboo, yes, Bamboo micro savings app, just about to launch over in your neck of the woods at the moment in the US. But we started off here in Australia. So all the Aussie participants in the Collective Shift hopefully are aware of Bamboo. So yeah, I'm COO at Bamboo here and have been involved in the project since the very beginning. And we've been going for about 4 years. So I could delve in and tell you all about how the app actually works, but I don't know if you want to go quite that far at the beginning.
Well, what I think would be really interesting is what's the problem that Bamboo is solving? Because I think you're very passionate about that.
Look, absolutely. And I think from someone who came into crypto late 2017, early 2018, it kind of blew my mind. It was, you know, when you remember getting into crypto at the beginning, there was just so much going on. And I kind of, that barrier to entry, you know, KYCing, getting onto an exchange, getting my fiat money in there, turning it into Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever other coin I wanted to buy, you know, order books on exchanges. Was my money safe? You know, it was a little bit of a head screw. I didn't know what was going on. And I think when I discovered Bamboo and what the problem that they were trying to solve was making it easy, making it simple, and taking that problem away. And that's what it is. So, you know, right now, if you were to download Bamboo, it's an app that you can download onto your phone, and within 2 minutes, you're in the market. You can buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's how simple it is. So no KYCing, you can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, or gold and silver, and you've got your foot in the door. You're in the market. You've got a bit of crypto.
It's amazing. So unlike an exchange, no KYC, would you say that it's more similar to something like a non-custodial hot wallet? How do you describe it to people? I mean, that was a beautiful description, but how do you compare it to some of the competitors out there?
Yeah, I guess, look, in essence, we say it's like Raise or Acorns for you guys over there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. And it's a micro savings app. And I'm going to talk to you guys directly as the Collective Shift audience who know crypto. And this is more for your mums and dads and sisters and other people who are trying to get into the market. And I'm, you know, constantly telling the mums and dads at school pickup or people I talk to at work or, you know, people I'm buying coffee at, because I'm always, you know, spruiking to people who are interested in crypto. But this is for people who want to jump into the market, who don't know where to start. It's not for people who are trading or know a lot about crypto. It's for those who want that basic entry point, and don't want to have to think about too much about it, because it's connecting to your bank account. It's rounding up that spare change, you know, $1.50, taking it when it gets to $50 and putting it into Bitcoin or Ethereum without thinking about it. So once you've got the app, it's there in the background and you're not thinking about it. So you're not thinking about the ups and downs in the market or what's going on. It's a set and forget. So it's nothing like exchanges. We really are a little bit different where, you know, it's completely different. So I think about it as an app that's educating the masses on crypto and how to get involved. So for the Collective Shift audience, it's about helping others get involved in crypto without having to think about exchanges or what else to do. Yeah. It's about getting your foot in the door, getting that little bit of a teaser. And then when they're looking at it and, you know, potentially when the market's going up again and getting a bit excited, and then understanding and saying, oh, maybe I do want to get a bit of Solana or get a bit of something else. And then they potentially look at exchanges or what have you. And, you know, so we're kind of like the gateway drug.
Yeah, you're the rabbit hole app. Yeah.
Lack of a better term, the rabbit hole app. that then leads you on to other things, because again, at this point in time, you can cash out at any moment, but we hold it. So we're giving you access, to the underlying funding. So
you're solving a massive problem. And I'm super passionate personally about what you guys are doing, because I rant about this all the time, that there's all these brilliant people working in the space trying to find 1% improvements on things that are on the back end, but nobody really out there is focused on the front end of mass adoption to make this easier for people to get involved in the first place, to just to pill them. Because honestly, going to an exchange, even for some people, is pretty terrifying, setting up the process and it not being mobile friendly. So I'm really, really excited for you guys and the future. And obviously that's why you've been successful. So thanks for sharing that. I'm sure we could go so deep into the future of what you guys are doing. I'm curious, what is your, or even if it's more collectively, no pun intended, Bamboo's investment thesis for crypto? How do you look at the space? How do you invest, or how do you advise people invest? And obviously not financial advice.
Not financial advice. Well, look, me personally, I wouldn't want to talk about the business as a whole, but me personally, like over the last 4 years, it has changed phenomenally. And I have probably, as an individual, learnt many a hard lesson, as I'm sure everyone that's been in that space for that amount of time has. And everyone's got their own personal ethos or way of going about things. But I think for me personally, the biggest takeaway is having a plan and sticking to that plan. And I know that I've said that, and then I've deviated from that as well. But for me, sticking to a plan is my biggest takeaway. You have to have a structured plan and stick with that plan. And I think I also can say there's always another opportunity. You think that you've missed an opportunity, there's always another opportunity coming if you can stick with that plan. And I think often it's listen to many people and not one. So I think early on I went down the rabbit hole of thinking this person's advice was everything, and I would only listen to that one person. And now I listen to many people and not just one. But also that goes with saying now I also trust my own thinking and my own judgment a lot more than I used to. So, coupling those maybe 4 pivotal bits of advice together, there's always another opportunity, sticking to a plan and listening to many and then taking your own advice. I think over the years, I've fallen down the trap of listening to too many people and taking their advice on without listening to my own gut feel and listening to my own intuition. And I think now, after this long in the game and this many hours of research, under my belt, I feel like I've got my own knowledge and I need to trust that a little more. And it's taken me a long time to actually trust my own knowledge. So but the biggest one there is just sticking to the plan, especially when we're in these markets cycles that we're in at the moment.
It's ironic, isn't it? You say on the one hand, I totally agree with you. You have to expose yourself to many ideas and many different forms of thinking. And at the end of the day, you have to trust yourself and come up with a plan and make that decision. That's actually one of the reasons I'm excited about this new segment we're doing, because we know that what we have at Collective Shift and the team we have is remarkable. But then giving people access to someone like you just only adds to that. At the end of the day, the person has to make the decisions themselves. So
yeah. I think it's really hard too to stick to your own plan, because even now when we're in this bear market that we're in now, we know that it's dollar cost averaging at these points when it's low is what we're meant to do. But it's really hard sometimes to give away that money. And we know the market psyche. When we're up the top and we're high, everyone's excited and we're popping money in here. It's hard to give it away down here. So if we make the plan and we stick with the plan, but I mean, look, everyone jumps into these shiny, sparkly coins that everyone's speaking about, and I certainly in the early days, and maybe even not that long ago, get excited about someone. It's hard to do, it's hard to stick to your plan, but if we can do it, I think it always works out for the best.
Just to go a little deeper there, if you don't mind sharing, would you say you're more of an active trader and investor, or a little bit more passive? How does your portfolio allocation look like? Is it mostly Bitcoin or Ethereum, or how do you approach that side of it?
Look, I think at the moment, it depends on what's going on in my own life cycle, because when we're extremely busy with work and we've got the US launch going on and very busy, and I certainly won't be an active trader. And, there has been a period in the last 4 years where I was trading a fair bit. there was periods where I was doing quite well and then not so well, but it depends on what I've got going on. I'm not actively trading at the moment. My portfolio structure will be a very similar portfolio structure to what the Collective Shift team will recognize, because I know it's very similar to what you put out to the group. And I'm a very big believer in having that Bitcoin and Ethereum set up is a very high percentage, 75% or over, and having your altcoins, a very small percentage of that. And I've got quite a high NFT split actually at the moment, probably
I think everyone that participated in this NFT cycle has way too much.
in that smaller split there. That's actually somewhere that I've spent a fair bit of the last 3 months, is trying to educate myself a little bit more in that NFT space. I'm a very big believer in that, 75% or more in the Bitcoin and Ethereum, because I think when we do shoot back up, I think that the Bitcoin will carry us up as per usual. We've seen enough market cycles now to understand where that goes. I think, I'm not saying anything new that everyone listening won't understand there, Bitcoin and Ethereum, but, I am very interested to understand more about this NFT space. I don't understand the cycle that's going on there, nor am I a big believer in what people call blue chips there. I think we'll see. I still think it's a very nuance. We don't understand a lot that's there, but I still think there's a new wave. I think there's a lot to come in the NFT space that we haven't seen yet. I think I'm interested to see where that goes. So I'll leave a small portion to play with there. I do think too, at the moment, cash is king. I think, normally you wouldn't say that, but at this point in the market cycle, I personally have a lot of cash on the sidelines ready to deploy, because unfortunately I don't think we've seen the bottom just yet.
Good for you. Most people didn't time that right. You move to cash at the right time if you're sitting in this moment and you have some liquidity. So that's awesome. I actually have a question that we'll get to that maybe we'll double click more on that NFT thought that you had, or maybe something else, just planting that seed. So based on what you just told me, what would you say then is the biggest investing mistake that you've made, whether it be a one-off decision of action or inaction, or maybe even a pattern that you've noticed in investing that's a mistake you've made? And if there isn't one, maybe it could be a common mistake you see other people making.
I think there are so many different mistakes that many people can make. The biggest one that I personally can make is rushing into things. Absolutely 100% rushing into things, especially in this space where you think that you've got to make a decision really quickly. And I think now I've got my markers. If I see anything, whether that's a coin or a project or an NFT, I've got my checklist now. I'm going to quickly have a look on researching those. And they're different things to research. If it's a token, then I need to go back and have a look at, the charts or the team or what have you. And if it's an NFT, then there's the things that I need to look at there. Obviously, your Discord and your Twitter and your what have you. So for me, I know that I need to not rush, because that's my downfall, is I think I rush into things too quickly. So that's, for me, that's the mistake that I make, is definitely rushing into things. But there are, many different mistakes that you can make in investing. I think another one also that is a common mistake is saying too many eggs in the one basket. We just spoke about then your portfolio mix. I think, having that spread as well. But that comes with investing in general. I know that crypto is actually only a very small percentage of my portfolio. I'm very diversified, my external portfolio and my self-managed super portfolio. My super portfolio is probably one of the most diverse portfolios you'll ever see in your life. I've got from, artwork to cattle to NFTs to crypto to, it's very diverse. I think you need to make sure that you are playing all the bases when it comes to diversity. And I think that's something that people can miss out on as well.
Yeah. And it's nice the way you structure that. I'm sure you didn't watch your portfolio go down 75-80% like a lot of us that are maybe a little over allocated to crypto. So that's good. I mean, that's the beauty of all of this, right? This is just one asset class, and over time there will be more reasons to invest more heavily or not. We will see all of it.
You play the long game. And I think that also comes into watching the macro trends and what's going on globally as a whole, and not just staying focused on what's going on with crypto, which a lot of people can do. Just looking at what's going on in their own backyard.
Beautiful. So if you had one tip, and I know these questions are just so challenging sometimes, there's so many answers to these things, but if you had one tip and you had sort of this say you had your cousin sitting next to you, someone you really deeply care about, and you had to give this person one tip as an investor. So you obviously spoke about the mistakes that you've made. What's the action tip that you would give to an investor in general?
Would they be just starting out?
That's a great nuance, and I had a feeling you were going to ask that. Let's go with someone who's relatively new to this space. Yeah.
Okay, well, again, I think I'm going to go with diversification, but education is key. Education, like that's what it comes down to, because you're going to make mistakes. Doesn't matter. Like I'm going to say you're going to make mistakes no matter what, but it's about education. That's the one thing that it comes down to education. And things like collective shift. That's exactly it. You guys are all in the right spot and you're doing the right thing by trying to educate yourself. And I wish I'd done that at a younger age. Like I'm 43 now, and I wish that, straight out of study, I'd concentrated on educating myself in finance instead of, traveling the world was fun, great. But I wish that I had educated myself a little bit earlier in finances. So before placing your money anywhere, understand the risks, but understand where you're putting your money, but also understand the project. That's one lesson I learned in crypto really early. Just because someone said this is going to 10x, don't blindly put your money behind something. Understand the project and the utility behind something. If you don't understand what the project is, how can you think that it's going to 10x or do well? So I think, education, understand where you're putting your money, I think, and diversify. So that's probably a bit of a long-winded answer.
No, that's beautiful. These
Yeah.
are such incredibly important fundamentals. FOMO is a powerful, powerful force, right? And so having the fundamentals in place, what is my plan? Doing my research, devoting myself to education. These are all incredibly important principles that most people are aware of, but don't actually take action on. So I'm really glad that you're sharing this, because I know it's going to help a lot of people. Last question for you, Trace, and then feel free to add anything on if you'd like to share anything else about yourself or Bamboo. So which sector of the crypto market do you think people, investors, the macro world is currently overly optimistic about? And what are people overly pessimistic about?
I think everyone's still overly optimistic about NFTs. Like I said, I've only really delved in and had a really good look the last 3 months, although I've been in NFTs. I was early on Zed Run, 2 or 3 years ago, sold out too early, but everyone's got those. But I've really come to understand what's going on in the NFT space at the moment. And I'm still 50-50 on where this is all going. But what I think that during this bear market, it's going to keep people interested, because I think this bear market's still got at least a good 6 months to go, but it's still keeping the people coming in. Because if you look at the stats right now, and I've been looking at this over the last few weeks, the people coming into the NFT space, OpenSeas, is growing exponentially day by day. The prices are coming down, but the new people are coming into the market. So while the NFT space is maybe not staying as buoyant price-wise as people would have hoped, people are still coming into the space. So there may not be these big gains at the moment, but there are really unusual projects and the artists are coming in. So there's a lot bubbling over. So, crypto bros may not be seeing these massive prices, but there's a lot happening in the NFT space that interests me. So I think there's a lot going on there that we need to keep an eye on. So that's interesting. And with DeFi, I thought we might have a DeFi, second coming 3 months ago anyway, before what's happened with Celsius and Three Arrows and all of that. I thought we might be having kind of, a second coming with DeFi. I still think there's another narrative there. I still think that there's a second coming of DeFi, but I think that, that narrative has changed a little because of what's gone on. But I still think that, I still think there's a second coming and something going on with DeFi, but we'll see because, crypto's taken a bit of a hit with everything that's gone on with Celsius and Three Arrows and leveraged lending, and it's not been a great look for us, but again, long-winded answer there, but we'll see. Crypto always surprises us.
It does.
Who knows?
A lot of Nostradamus types out there, right? Thinking and telling everyone on Twitter they have the answers and this is what's coming and they have this plan A, B, C. But at the end of the day, we're all being surprised every single week.
Yeah.
Crazy
Yeah.
things happening
I think as
constantly.
well, like I think when we do have this bear market and and there's companies that won't make it through this, and there's companies that will, unfortunately, die away. But then there's other companies who are just, hunkered down and building out their products, and that's great. This is actually probably a good thing for crypto, where the people that fall away weren't potentially meant to be here. It's a bit of a clean out of sorts, and we'll see who's still here for the start of the next bear run. And like I said, it's building season. People are getting on with building these products of the future that will need to be there at the end. So look, Solana's brought out a phone. We've got Dialect, which is the what might be the messaging app through those phones, which is pretty exciting. So there's a lot going on, and I'm excited to see what's getting built out and it's going to pop out at the other end. So it's exciting times still.
Yep, it's cleanup on aisle 7, and some things will survive, and some new things that we've never heard of will come out and change the world in their own way. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a very natural process, is really what I'm hearing from you.
Agreed.
Yeah, amazing, Trace. Any last words, and where can people check out more about you, the podcast, and Bamboo?
Yeah. Okay. Look, Bamboo. Yeah. Again, please, if you wanted to get someone else into crypto and they're just interested in the big guys, Bamboo, Bitcoin and Ethereum, then please help them to download the app. It'll take a couple of minutes to get them into the market through the app. And yeah, Crypto Curious. You can listen to that wherever you listen to your podcasts. Give us a follow. Me, Blake, and Craig. Always, it's just a fun podcast, letting you know what's going on. Give us a listen. And yeah, we hope to be working a lot with you guys at the Collective Shift. So you should see us around, and big fans of everything you guys are doing. We love working with Ben and Aaron and everyone there. So hopefully we see you guys a bit more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Trace. Appreciate you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.